Welcome to Roots and Roofs, where we explore the intersection of motherhood and entrepreneurship in the real estate world. I am your host, Mackenzie Shelton. Join us as we dive into the unique journey of balancing family life with owning a thriving real estate business. Each episode, we will uncover inspiring stories, practical tips, mindset conversations, and expert insights from others who are carving their paths in the real estate industry. Whether you are a seasoned realtor, a prospective buyer, or simply curious about the dynamics of managing both home and career, Roots and Roofs is your go-to podcast for heartfelt discussions and invaluable advice. Tune in and discover how these incredible women are building deep roots from the ground up while nurturing their families under the same roof. Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Roots and Roofs. I'm Mackenzie Shelton. I am the host, and I actually have a really special guest with me today. This is actually my husband, Jack Shelton, and I thought it would just be kind of fun and different to bring him onto the podcast to just kind of talk about how our lives have really blended between our personal lives and our professional lives since we both have ended up owning our own businesses, being entrepreneurs, having business ventures together. And I know that there are a lot of women entrepreneurs and business owners out there that are in probably a similar situation to us. So I just wanted to take the time to sit down with him and get a little bit of a different perspective on some of the things that we have managed to do together and separately. So Jack, thank you so much for coming on here and just answering some of my probably very ridiculous questions. All right, so let's get started, okay? All right, so Jack, in your opinion, what is it like balancing our personal and professional lives kind of together?
Chaos. Um, Everything's just so intertwined, and we have the same visions and same goals, and our paths may be a little bit different, but we're going to the same place and we're trying to do the same things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How do you think we kind of got to that place? Because I don't feel like we were always like that.
You were doing property management and I was being a plumber.
Yeah.
So we have been doing this a long time.
That's very true. Yeah, I guess that is very true. Back when I was doing property management, I was actually calling you to do plumbing work for the property management that we were doing. That is very true. I do think though, like as time has gone on, I feel like what I see sometimes with couples is like there's this, kind of fork in the road where you either tend to go in very, very like separate different directions, or you tend to kind of come together. And I personally think that we've done a really good job of coming together. And I don't know if there's like some sort of magic formula for that, but we just really have kind of decided that we wanted our goals and our vision to kind of be the same. Like, do you feel like it kind of started a little bit with trying to get out of debt, probably?
Yeah, definitely. And just kind of being in the same industry too, and just having, we kind of grew up together essentially in our careers, and we've built things from nothing, and just started, really just working together at a young age and consistently growing that and making it bigger.
Yeah.
Whether it's smaller things that we're tying into, or just, doing giant flips or stuff we don't know, like buying an Airbnb and going down there for 2 weeks and doing it. Like,
Yeah.
just taking the chance, taking the jump. I think that's the most important thing, and just having the trust in each other to know that you're going to have my back and I'm going to have yours.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree. All right. So the second question, I know the answer to this, but we'll just ask for audience sake. Have we had major disagreements about work?
Nothing that really pops to mind.
Really? Okay.
So obviously it wasn't that big a deal. Or maybe it was, not to me.
That might be true.
I'm trying to think, other than probably timelines or like how or why to do things that maybe I just can't articulate good enough, is like, hey, this is going to take this long because of, and can't put it into words, but you just like, hey, you need to trust me.
Yeah.
And like, that's probably what our biggest struggle is.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
I mean, I can't think of any major problems. I mean, we've had plenty of them, but like nothing that was like, oh, we can't figure this out. Like everything is solvable.
Yeah. Yeah,
That's
that's
being a
very
home
true.
inspector. That's what I have to say. Every problem is solvable.
Yeah.
Everything can be fixed.
Yes, absolutely. Agreed. Yeah, I would say I agree with you, like kind of the actual real timeline versus the
Yes.
imaginary timeline has
Even
probably,
mine, like I think something's gonna take, 3 days and it takes 2 weeks and it's like,
yeah,
okay, well, yeah, maybe it would have taken 3 days if I could have been there 12-hour days, but if I'm getting 2 hours here and 6 hours here, it just didn't
right,
happen.
right. Very true. Uh, how do you think we have been able to deal with conflicts and kind of find resolutions with things? Like, I know we're not perfect, but what are some of the ways that you feel like we do a good job of kind of moving past any of the problems that we kind of have come up?
I think we have a lot of different strengths and weaknesses, like things I'm good at, you're not very good at, or things, vice versa. And it's just being able to rely off each other
Yeah,
and, just really get there to solve the problem,
yeah.
you know.
I do think a big part of it is like although we are both very stubborn, we do get to a place where we have to just like trust what the other person
Yes.
is saying and rely on their expertise a little
Even when you
bit.
don't want to.
Yes,
Yes, I would say that.
for sure. Agreed. Okay. What strengths do you feel that I bring to the table when we're working together? And I'm gonna also answer the same question.
Okay. I mean, you generally care about your clients or, your team. And that's really what it is. Like, I think that's probably your biggest, like, you don't want to let anybody down, even if you're going to piss me off in the doing so or make me mad. Sorry.
Yeah.
And that's really what it is. You truly care, like how these people, are going to be happy, and this is the house that they're going to have, or your team that they're going to want. You're going to want to set them up for success. You don't want to throw roadblocks. You don't want to make things hard. You want to make it as easy as possible, which is maybe not the best thing for a team, but for your clients, for sure. You
Yeah.
really want to make the path smooth, and you care about that, and that's why you are successful.
Thank you. I
You
appreciate
know.
that. I would say probably the biggest strength that you bring to the table is you are very kind of you're like the calm in the storm. And
Rational thoughts.
yeah. It's more that I think you can sometimes just I don't know, like you're more analytical and so you can kind of think through problems very
Yeah.
differently than I do because I feel like what your answer just was to me was very emotional, right? And so I feel like the strength that maybe this is why we complement each other very well is like you're very analytical, very logical, and I'm very like emotionally driven, which is
You need a little bit of both,
yeah,
You
for
got to
sure.
care a little bit, Need enough caring for both of us most of the time.
All right, that's fair. That's fair. Okay, how do you think that we encourage and support each other's individual business ventures?
Um, Say, hey, I have a cow coming next week. You better get ready. Just be in support, like, hey, if you need me to watch the little ones or do something or run somebody there, or go unlock a house or go look at something or go fix a plumbing problem, even, like there's certain points I'm willing to help you, but certain things like when you try to get me to go out look at a plumbing leak at midnight, I'm like, no, I'm not doing that.
Yeah,
I'm not a plumber anymore.
that's
So
fair.
that's,
That's fair. Yes.
but supporting each other is we wouldn't be where we are if we didn't, it's
Yeah.
just I help you do your best, you help me do my best, and
Yeah.
that's all we can ask for.
I agree. I agree. I think I would also add to that, like we've done a couple very important things, I think, in the last couple years. We didn't necessarily do this earlier on, but in the last couple years, we've done a very good job of sitting down at least once a week and saying, okay, what do you have on the schedule? What do I have on the schedule? Where do we need to help each other? Even going down to kids' schedules and practices and school and who, where do we need to be? And I think just simply by doing that, like we feel more cohesive, even though there's going to be stuff that because both of our jobs are very reliant on when people need us, like we're able to kind of sidestep a lot of that, and quickly pivot and things like that when we at least have the majority of our week scheduled out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I agree. It's well, it's so nice to be able to say like, hey, I want to go to jujitsu today, and like you don't have nothing, so like not a problem. Or like, hey, I want to go out with my friends, like, yeah, no problem. I'll sit at home on Saturday night, it doesn't bother me.
Right.
Just be able to do those little things really help the big things when you're like, hey, I'm gonna be gone for 3 days in Vegas and or whatever,
Yeah.
or I gotta go show a house XYZ all day, and can you pick up Tesla? Can you do all this? And like I have no problem. Do the dishes,
Yeah.
clean up, like why wouldn't I? Like we're
Yes.
on the same team, or have the same goals. We both want our kitchen to be clean. Like I want, carbs to be vacuumed. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, laundry to be done. Like we are on a team here. Like if
Yeah,
I'm
I
not
just
gonna do
helped you
it,
with
you're
laundry earlier this
yes,
week. Yeah.
yes.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, so just for everybody who's listening, we actually did several years ago decide that I'm better at dishes and you are better at laundry. And that has worked for the most part, but of course, life, sometimes just one of us has to that's the thing, like
It wasn't really fair when we are doing our kitchen because she didn't have a kitchen to do this with them. So I had to do all the laundry.
that is true. Wait, I was having to hand wash dishes. Yeah, that was not fun. In a tiny little basement sink. Yeah, that was not fun.
It's better than a bathtub.
Yes, very true. Very true. No, I think also like we because we're sitting down and doing that once a week, like we just communicate better with everything that we have going on throughout the week. So
Well, it
yeah.
helps me to write stuff down. Like if I don't write down my week, I feel a lot. If I don't write down what I'm going to do the day before, that's actually just something I started working on this year. Like
Yeah.
every day and every night, writing in a planner what I'm doing, what I did, like just to help me keep track, keep myself more efficient with everything I do.
Yeah.
That's my main goal, is to be 100% efficient all the time.
Yes, I agree. And especially when you are running multiple businesses like we are, you have to. Yeah. Because otherwise, and I know I've talked about this on the podcast previously. Like I have two planners. We have multiple whiteboards that we write stuff down on. It's we have a family calendar, we have our Google calendars, like really stuff is probably 3 or 4 different places at any given time. And it's strategically placed that we're
Helps you
pretty
not
much
forget.
pretty much always looking at it. Yep, for sure. Okay. So kind of leading into what we were just talking about with communication, what role does communication play in our business and our marriage? Like what do you think we do well as far as communicating?
I think we don't really hold anything back. That's just, you have to be open. Like
Yeah.
we have so much entanglement. Like we have to be open. If you're doing something I don't like, I have to tell you. If I'm doing something you don't like, you have to tell me. Like,
Yeah.
hey, you haven't been around this week. I need your help tonight. Like, you have to let me know, or I won't know. I'm just like, hey, I have to go do something. You need to watch kids or be here. Like,
Yeah.
and that's just what it is. It's being 100% open. It's like you can't hold nothing back or try to hide something or do anything like that. It's like, because it just doesn't work.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's my opinion of it.
Yeah, absolutely. Um, I think what I hear from some of my either friends or, I don't know, just even on Instagram and TikTok, like I think where people really struggle in their marriages is not being very transparent with the other person. Um, I think part of this is our personalities, but we are both very good at, if there is a problem, just immediately saying this is a problem. And even if that means that we have to get into an argument about it, like usually that argument is done 5 minutes later. And then you're not sitting over there resentful that I don't know what you're thinking about or vice versa. And I think it just eliminates a lot of like really deep miscommunication that when our lives are so entwined like ours are, there's no way that we would be able to be where we are had we not just
Said it, said the thing, say it. It's like, hey, and usually I'm over it within a couple hours. Just, it's just,
yeah.
just got to get it out there and move past the problem. I think we're both good at that. And I mean, we wouldn't be entrepreneurs or where we are if we weren't,
Yeah,
just
very solution based,
yes.
right? Like here's the problem, here's the solution, even if it takes a little while to get there. Yeah, absolutely, agreed. um how do we make time for our relationship amidst all of the things we have going on?
just gotta schedule it for the most part, or just take the opportunities when they're there, so my mom grabs, it's gotten tests for a night and, the older boys aren't here, or, even if they are, like, let's go
Yeah.
do something, whether it's going to the gym together, grabbing lunch, on a Wednesday,
Yeah.
what's today, Wednesday?
Yeah.
No, it's
Or
Tuesday,
Tuesday.
Tuesday.
Yeah.
Just having this opportunity, we didn't think we'd have the opportunity to film this, and now here we are,
Yeah.
taking it when it comes.
Yeah. I think just from my perspective, early on, when especially like when we were dating and when we moved in together, before even like early on in our marriage, I think you maybe didn't quite see the importance in spending one-on-one time together. And I just was kind of consistent with saying, like, I need a date night, like once a month, or something like that. And I think I mean, I'm speaking for you, but like, would you agree that over time, like, you've kind of understood the
Yeah,
importance of that?
definitely.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And I don't think it was that you didn't want to spend time with me. It was just that, like, that wasn't a number one priority.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think as time also has gone on, I feel like I see both of us getting better at kind of putting our marriage first, even before kids and business and all of those things, because we've kind of realized that, like, everything kind of falls
Yeah.
from the top
If
down.
we're not functioning well, usually something does not function well, or it's because of our businesses or personal issue that we have, or
Yeah.
whatever it is. It usually, if we are not communicating, or, having an issue going on, we're trying to solve it. If we don't solve it, we're just not gonna solve anything else, essentially.
Yeah.
Like, we have to put our problems first, and then we work down to whatever issues we're having, whether that's, paying bills, or, projects getting done, or vice versa. Like, we have to work out our issues gonna be first. And
Yeah. Agreed.
hopefully, gladly, there's no big ones
No, no.
that I know of.
Well, no. And I think we're also very good at, like, if something is off and, like, we're maybe not 100% sure what it is, like, we're very good at saying, like,
Yeah, what's your problem?
yeah, what's your very good. That's pretty much what
Yeah. What's your deal?
And I feel like I'm speaking as, like, a woman, and obviously most of the people listening are women. Like, sometimes I don't even know what the problem is. So, and I maybe don't even recognize that, like, there is that, like, I am mad. So even just you saying that, sometimes I'm like, oh,
Sometimes
okay.
makes you mad.
That happens sometimes, yeah. But sometimes I'm like, oh yeah, like, I don't, or I can then articulate,
Or
like,
I could just tell something's been bothering you all day, or,
yeah,
your anxiety's up, and I could just kind of tell, like, hey, what's going on? Like,
yeah,
can I help you?
yes,
Usually that's, can I help you? Or if it's I can't, then I can't. But
yeah,
that's when I like to solve problems, I'm like,
yeah,
hey, if something's wrong, let me help, or let me fix it, or,
yes,
sometimes it just can't be fixed.
right, yeah. But then sometimes it's even just nice to sit there and not do anything, when it is something that you can't fix. So you're very good at that. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, what is one thing that you admire about me as a spouse and as a business partner?
Definitely as a business partner, like I said before, just you care about your people, like we really do, and you put them first. And as a business partner, like I said, my weaknesses are your strengths, and, like, it's nice to have somebody that's, the polar opposite of what I do, because we are definitely the polar opposite.
Yeah,
And it just makes it like a big good team, it's like a great partnership. I wouldn't ask for somebody else to be in business with, it just makes it real easy. And, yeah, I don't like doing paperwork, so it makes it even better.
that I do all of your
Yes,
paperwork.
yes,
Yeah,
yes.
very true.
Secretary work,
Yeah,
yes, all of it.
I mean, and that's dating back to even when we were
Yes,
dating,
and Midland
doing,
Realty.
yes, and doing all of your plumbing invoices for you. Yeah.
Yeah, you started.
I did.
I've never written up my own invoice, by the way.
So if it's wrong, it's on me. Yeah. I would say, like, I think the thing that I admire most about you is that, to be honest, this used to be something that, I don't know, maybe irritated me or annoyed me, but the fact that you can do so many, like, you can have so many different projects and things going on at one time. And even if you don't feel like you're great at prioritizing things and stuff like that. Like your system makes no sense to me because like we said, we're very polar opposite. But I've learned to like admire that about you over time that it's I've even thought about this with like our kids. Like very recently I listened to a podcast where he was talking about how like why would you want your kid to be exactly like you? You should celebrate their differences, you know? And I think with you over time, I've learned to celebrate everything that makes you different, and especially the things that you do so differently in just business and stuff like that. Um, you're like very much in your head where I'm very much like on paper, and you're getting like I feel like you're getting better about putting stuff on paper, but even then like it was very kind of cool to watch you prioritize so many different things, and like it was just all up here.
Yeah,
So
I still like, even though I do write like the major stuff down, there's at least 4 or 5 every single day that like, well, I'm gonna have to do this, I'm gonna need this tool, and I'm gonna have to it's gonna take this long. It's like, all right, when I have that opportunity, and I have that tool, then I'm gonna go do that.
yeah,
It's like I'm
right.
right here, like, just taking that time and just, again, that's just whether it's just fixing a staple or something, or
Yeah,
whatever it is. It's like it's just something that's rolling around up there, and it's like,
right.
that's how you become, like, I don't want to make 2 trips. I'm like, I'm thinking about what I need, and I'm thinking about how long it's gonna take, and thinking my way through everything. That's probably why there's so much stuff up there.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Uh, so we've experienced a lot of growth in our years together. What do you think are the reasons that we've been able to grow and not grow apart?
Again, we just have the same vision and same goals for the most part. We have different paths that we want to take to get there, but like I think our future is what we've been wanting to make it and what we have now. Like
Yeah,
it's everything we've been building for and like working towards. And like
yeah,
obviously that's worked pretty well for us. And if we continue to keep doing what we've been doing, I think that's going to be better for us, and maybe, in our community and our kids, and
yeah,
just keeping, like I said, it's like having a super partner when you do all the things that, where you just complement each other very well. My strength and your weak, it's just that kind of mentality, I guess. Like you do it as best, and I do what I'm best at. Like
hmm,
I'm best at, working with my hands and getting stuff done, and like you're best at marketing stuff, and like,
hmm,
getting the paperwork done. Like, if I can just go, I can go. Like I can get a lot of things done, and I don't have to worry about, paperwork and whatever else is, budget. Like,
yeah,
like, can I buy this or not? Okay, let's go.
yes, right,
Can we
right,
afford it? Let's go.
yeah,
And so that really frees me up to be able to be the most efficient I can and get like
yeah.
all the things I need done. Like, yeah, it just really helps.
Yeah, I agree. I would probably add to that, like, I think we have been very intentional about sitting down, every year and kind of figuring out what our goals are separately and together. We've done that really for a long, I mean, I've been at Keller Williams for 10 years, right?
Mhm.
And I went to Bold, literally 10 years ago. And I think at first, like you were kind of like goals, like why would we
Yeah.
sit down and do that? But like I think once we started kind of making that a priority every year, even like when we were getting out of debt, right?
Okay.
Sitting down and saying like these are, doing just very simple things like throwing all of our extra money at your truck at the
Yeah.
time, and things like that. It just I think if as a couple you don't sit down and
You prioritize what you need to,
yeah,
prioritize your guys' life, no matter what it looks like.
yeah, then there's really no opportunity for forward motion if you're not doing those
Mhm.
things,
Yeah.
you either become stagnant or you move backward,
Mhm.
if you're not kind of aligned in that
Yeah,
regard.
the goals was huge for me because I mean I never really set goals, and honestly you were the one to kind of push it to it, and then reading certain books got me, and now it's like I can't get motivated for something if I don't have a reason or a goal to do it, or if I'm not like, if I get XYZ done, then I'll have this, or like we'll
Yeah,
be here, or like, like even like train and work out, like I don't want to just work out just to look better or be in like better shape. Like if I have something, that a goal that I'm shooting for, like a competition or whatever, like I'm gonna prioritize that more,
yeah,
for them. Just like I'm just going to go. It's like, no, like if I have a goal in mind, a
yeah,
reason for it, I'm gonna prioritize it. Just like anything, with the house, we want to be done. The pool deck, I want to be able to have a nice deck on the pool. Like,
yeah,
it prioritize.
Right. And I think actually gotten more cohesive since we did 75 hard together
Yes.
last year. Like
Yeah.
I okay, for everyone who's listening, if you do 75 hard, like definitely do it with your spouse. Because I think one of the things that really, really helped us dial in on learning how to support each other better was when we were both trying to get 2 workouts
Mhm.
done in a day. And like you have to be like, okay, when are you going to go do
Yeah.
yours? When am I going to go do mine? Are we bringing the kids with us? Are we, who are you taking a kid to practice and then you're going to work out? Like all of those things became super, super important because neither were so competitive. Neither one of us wanted
Yeah.
to be the one who didn't do it,
Yeah.
so yeah.
Prioritize and execute. I mean, that's 100% what it is.
Yeah.
You got to prioritize what you have to do and execute it the way you say you're going to do it.
Yeah.
That's what 75 hard is. It's doing what you say you're going to do and
Yeah.
doing it every day.
Yeah.
And that really, it just goes to show you, like, I mean, it was hard, but at the same time, it wasn't that hard. Like,
No.
just more honestly, the time management thing was probably the hardest thing.
The
Just be able to get it all in,
Yeah, I think the biggest thing that I learned, like, I mean, I was pretty good at time management prior to that, but I got even better at it. And I used to say a lot, like, I don't have time for that. I don't have, and now even if I am somehow in some way kind of saying I don't have time for it, I'm really more saying I'm choosing not to make time for this. And that's okay if that's what I'm choosing in that moment, but that kind of just goes back to everything business related, right? So like even some of the things that you and I have maybe not done a great job prioritizing, it's like, okay, well, is this just not the most important thing that needs to be done right now, and we've even done that with some of the things that we're doing on our farm, right? We've had to go back and say, well, we would really love to get all of these things done, but what are the most important things that need to be done this year or this month or, that sort of thing.
Yeah, they're not the new flashy things, the stuff that's gonna help us be more efficient.
Exactly.
Then I think of like a lot of 75 hard too is prioritizing our health.
Yeah.
And it's like I always worked out or did something, and
Yeah.
like really be able to prioritize that, like taking the time out of my day. And I wouldn't imagine doing jujitsu it every day at 10 o'clock in the morning. Like that wasn't something I would ever think that I
Yeah.
could do. And it's like, no, just manage your time, get what I need done, and like make it a part of my day, and like not think of it, just hours. Think of
Yes.
minutes, you know what I mean? Like,
Yes.
yeah.
I was talking with my mom about that when she was in town, that nobody actually works an 8-hour workday, right? Like
You go to the construction industry. That's what I'm from.
That's
You go to
true.
work at 7, you're off at 3:30. Like that's the time. Like I used to go somewhere at like 10 o'clock on Wednesday. Like, what are all these people doing? Like, dude, nobody have a job. Now I'm like, no, this guy. People work from home. People do X, Y, Z. Like,
Yeah.
it's not. It was just such a I don't know what the right word is, or just it didn't seem like something like that would be like okay with me. Like, 'cause
Yeah.
I'm so used to like 7 o'clock, 3:30. Like either that was inspections or just working on our houses or whatever, like, but it's like, no, I can write my own timeline. And that's what for me, the best part about being an entrepreneur is like
Yeah.
I can schedule my life, and it's makes it a
Right.
lot easier.
And that is honestly worth more than money sometimes. Yeah.
Yeah, you're not trying to get rich, I'm just trying to get free,
Yeah.
you know.
For real.
And that's, and again, prioritizing our health, it's only going to help us be better business owners. We're going to be better parents. We're going to be
Yep.
better, role models to people, like that's what my biggest thing is, trying to be the best version of myself that I can be, just so because I have so many people that look up to me. And it's like, I got to be the best. So of myself, I don't have to be better than anybody, but like,
No.
I always want to make the right decision and do the right thing.
Yeah. Yeah. And, I've had somewhat of a weird health journey between having kids and some health issues and some of that stuff. But, being able to kind of like do that together, I think has helped me like not only hold myself accountable, but also, like you kind of inspire me to want to, continue down that path, right? And for all the same reasons, right? I want our kids to, see mom go work out and be healthy and be in shape and
normal part of life.
yeah, exactly, for sure. Yep, I love that. Okay, so I know we're kind of almost to the end here. So just one more question. And I think we both should answer this just because we probably have different perspectives on this. And maybe don't be sarcastic with this answer. uh, what advice would you give to other married couples?
I would say, like we've been talking the whole time, you got to be a team. You just have to have those hard conversations. You're in it together. Your partner should be your number one more than your kids. Like if that relationship isn't good, nothing's going to be good, and
Mm-hmm.
it's not 50-50, it's 100-100. Like you have to be all in. You have to buy into your spouse. I mean, that's what it's truly what it is. Like you can't hold nothing back. You
Mm-hmm.
have to just be all the way in. Like this is your partner. This is what you guys are doing. There's no more. There's still a you and but there's still everything that needs to be a journey together. Not so much everything, but like you guys have to have. I don't know. We just have our priorities together and what we want to do and what our vision is similar. We're gonna have
Yeah.
different paths to get there. Like the things I like to do aren't the things you like to do. So like the hobby things isn't don't really, like we definitely have different hobbies, definitely do things, but the same vision of what we want our lives to look like.
Yeah.
And if you're not talking about that, if you don't have goals as a couple,
Mm-hmm.
it's going to be real hard to, grow together. If you guys are just aimlessly like living your life, like you're not going to be able to grow together and you're only going to probably drive each other apart.
Yeah.
If you're on opposite ends, I mean, I don't know. It's easy for us because I don't know, maybe it's not easy, but we are entrepreneurs. We set our schedules, like we are very intertwined. But I mean, it would probably be hard if we had, different jobs and we're gone all day and only saw each other for a couple hours a night. But here we are
Sure.
on a Tuesday at 1 o'clock doing a podcast. It's like we are pretty lucky.
Yeah. Yeah.
But we've made it, we've made our lives this way.
I was gonna say at one point it was not like
Yeah,
that, right?
absolutely.
It was very different. You were gone most of the day. I was gone most of the night showing houses. I mean, yeah, we've definitely gotten to this point for that reason. Yeah, absolutely. I would say my probably my number one piece of advice is to let your spouse be who they are. Like I think I think this can happen to men and women, but I feel like I see this maybe just because I talk to women more. Like,
Mhm.
I just see a lot of women wanting to turn their spouse into somebody different. And I I think I've tried my best to let you be you. And if there are things that I want to see like be different or improve or something like that, um, trying my best to like be encouraging rather than I don't know, just like beating you down.
Yeah. Just nagging or just why
Yeah,
don't you do it like this or why don't you like this? It's like,
yeah,
just if we 75 hard was a drinking also, it's like I never was that heavy of a drinker
mm-mm.
and like COVID happened and like no offense, like you started drinking like a lot more and I was
Yeah,
like, well, whatever you are, then it's like
yeah,
come the next couple of years, like man, I had a problem, not being able to, not get drunk every day or nothing.
no,
The beers every day, it's like it took me a while to start realizing that, and 75 hard was huge for that. But sometimes your spouse cannot be the best influence, and you guys both have to realize, like, hey, and I think that's kind of what we were at with
yeah,
drink too. Like, hey,
yeah.
we were like, not that it's a
We
problem, but
we both said that,
yeah, it's
yeah.
like it wasn't a problem, but it was
No,
like we just why, we're not
yeah,
helping ourselves with
no,
anything. We're not 25 party, like why? Why are we
yeah,
getting drunk on a Wednesday afternoon?
yeah, for real.
No,
Yeah,
but it to be able to help you guys help people see through their problems, and
yeah.
your spouse is kind of your mirror a little bit.
Yes,
You know,
absolutely. There's actually I'm trying to remember what book that is. There is a book that talks about how your spouse is kind of like a mirror of everything that you kind of don't like about yourself,
mm,
which can sometimes,
I can see that.
yeah, like kind of sometimes create huge problems between you two. So instead of taking it out on your spouse, you kind of have to like sit back and say, okay, this is really about me, right? And all the things that I don't like about myself. So yeah. I thank you very much for coming on and doing this.
Thanks for having me.
I know that
I was pretty reluctant.
Yeah, I know that this is outside of your comfort zone, but I think that because a lot of females are, I mean, over 50% of the population is married, and a lot of females that are starting businesses really kind of struggle with the dynamic between how do I serve my marriage and how do I, try to serve this business and all of those things. And I know with 100% certainty that I would not be where I am in my business without you. And we would not have the business ventures that we have without you. There's absolutely no way that I could have done all of this by myself.
Well, that's the same for me. I couldn't have done it without you either.
Yeah. Thank you so much for listening to Roots and Roofs podcast today. If you loved today's episode, please let me know. I love hearing from you on Instagram and Facebook, so feel free to send me a DM or tag me in your stories so I can share it too. If you're looking for more information about today's topic, please visit my website, mahoganyacres.com, and all of the information that is listed in the show notes below. Until next time.